Imagine waking up in a hospital bed, strapped down, unable to remember how you got there. The people in white coats say you've been helping your country, but you're missing weeks of your life. This wasn't fiction. This was MK Ultra. In the 1950s, during the height of the Cold War, the CIA launched a secret project so disturbing, even top government officials would deny it for decades. Project MK Ultra was a covert mind control program. Its goal? To create methods of controlling human behavior using drugs, hypnosis, sensory deprivation, and psychological torture. Inspired by fears that Soviets and Chinese were brainwashing prisoners, the CIA wanted to fight fire with fire. What they created instead was a blueprint for abuse. Under the leadership of Dr. Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA recruited doctors, scientists, and even prison wardens to run experiments on real people, often without their consent. Subjects were drugged with LSD, sometimes for over 70 days straight. They were placed in isolation, deprived of sleep, and exposed to white noise for hours. Some were given shock treatments or dosed with barbiturates and amphetamines to induce mental breakdowns. In Canada, at the Allen Memorial Institute, patients went in for depression and left with their minds erased, unable to speak, remember their families, or function normally. The CIA even tested substances in brothels under a sub-program called Operation Midnight Climax. The agents watched through two-way mirrors as civilians were drugged and observed like lab rats. MK Ultra wasn't just unethical, it was illegal. But the government buried it. In 1973, as Watergate unfolded, CIA Director Richard Helms ordered the destruction of all MK Ultra files. Over 20,000 documents were shredded, erasing years of data and evidence. Still, a few documents survived. A Freedom of Information Act request in 1977 uncovered chilling records. Over 80 institutions were involved, including universities, hospitals, and prisons, all unknowingly. Some believe MK Ultra never truly ended. They point to modern surveillance, targeted harassment, and psychological ops as echoes of past experiments. And then there's the death of Dr. Frank Olson, a military biochemist who fell from a 13th floor window after being secretly drugged. His family believes he was murdered to keep MK Ultra a secret. In 1995, President Clinton formally apologized to victims of MK Ultra, calling the experiments a disgrace. But no one was prosecuted. No one went to jail. Victims were silenced. Lives were destroyed. And the line between national defense and human rights was blurred beyond recognition. So when people say that sounds like a conspiracy theory, remember, MK Ultra was very real. And some secrets never stay buried. MK Ultra officially ended in 1973. At least, that's what the documents say. But some believe the project didn't disappear. It simply changed names and adapted to a new era, one with more data, less oversight, and far more reach. In the early 2000s, the US military quietly launched research into what it called narrative warfare. Instead of substances or isolation chambers, this time, the focus was stories, messages, and how they shape human behavior on a global scale. By studying language patterns and emotional triggers, agencies explored how ideas could be used to shift perception without physical contact. The goal wasn't to erase thoughts, it was to replace them. Today, influence happens not in secret rooms, but in open platforms, through algorithms, social media feeds, and digital targeting. In 2014, a large tech company conducted an emotional experiment on nearly 700,000 users, quietly adjusting what they saw in their timelines. The result? People's emotional states shifted. without their knowledge. By the time MKUltra was shut down, it had already grown far beyond one program. Over 140 sub-projects were launched, each with its own objectives, methods, and secrets. Many were forgotten. Some were intentionally buried. One such project focused on the idea of influencing behavior through hypnotic suggestion. Researchers explored whether fear responses could be created and removed without physical triggers. Could someone be trained to panic at a sound or phrase, and just as easily be calmed with another? It may sound like science fiction, but it was funded, documented, and tested. Another experiment took place in Canada, under the direction of Dr. Ewan Cameron, a respected psychiatrist. With support from U.S. intelligence agencies, his clinic conducted unusual procedures on patients seeking help for common conditions. These individuals experienced extended sleep therapy, repetition of recorded messages, and other experimental treatments. Some patients later reported memory loss and confusion. What they expected was care. What they experienced was something else entirely. MKUltra ended on paper. But some believe the experiments never really stopped. They just stopped asking permission. I've got to be honest, researching MKUltra left me with a strange feeling. Not just because of what happened, but because it was real. This isn't a theory. It's documented, verified. And somehow, most people still don't know it ever existed. It makes you wonder, how far would a government or an agency go in the name of security? What gets justified behind closed doors? And how many programs like this were never caught? I'm not here to tell you what to believe, but I do think we should be asking more questions. Because the moment we stop paying attention, that's when history repeats itself. If you made it this far, thank you. Really, this kind of topic isn't easy to digest, but it matters. I'd love to hear what you think. Do you believe programs like MKUltra are truly gone? Or did they just evolve? Drop your thoughts in the comments. I read them all. And if this story hit you the way it hit me, there's more coming. More stories, more truths, more questions we're not supposed to ask. So if you're into that, stick around. Subscribe. Share. Let's see where this rabbit hole goes. Together.